his spot in Season 2.
Right, he is the number 2 seed overall and is likely passing Harlan Fear.
Engineered explosives for 1 from Bertarioni. So nobody really with a runaway start here. We see a Thoughtseize from Collins, grabbed an Oko early in the game, but other than that, we're still in the development part.
Yes.
A lot of action here. On Collins' side, looks like we have Mystic Sanctuary, Cryptic Command, Sword of the Meek, Bertarioni cleans up the board here with Engineered Explosives. Shields are down. Collins can produce an Oko here. It's a pretty big deal. Don't believe he has the Planeswalker, though. And he does not. Just rebuild. Here's Arkham's Astrolabe. That draws another fetch land.
See, and this is a spot where, because Mullen had that Astrolabe last turn, that Goose, it doesn't even feel like that Engineered Explosives did anything but dent Mullen's development.
Right. Both players are really still waiting for that big turn to happen, for some player to take an action, to do something.
Right.
Bobble for Bertarioni. I think we're looking at Emery, Oko, and Urza as really your 3 payoffs here.
Right, you're just looking for one of those card advantage engines to come online and then try and ride it while snowballing an advantage.
And Jeremy just says go. Back over to Collins. Looks like he picks up a Scalding Tarn. Cryptic Command now available for him. See, that one is in the grip. Sword of the Meek's also there. Something he eventually will want to get onto the battlefield, but I don't know how much he's going to prioritize that.
Not even a remote one.
Shock's down to 12. And it's going to be the old shock and then say go. It might be. And it is. So that does send a signal. Jeremy will check the top card. And now we've entered a holding pattern, so nobody really coming onto the board quick. Some very slow development, but it got us to the same spot. And big one, actually, Bertarioni misses the land drop.
Right, yeah, he's not playing anything either, so I almost expect him to have an Urza or 2 in his hand and maybe just some other reactive cards.
Yeah, both players, I think, have registered this transformational game plan where they board into a control deck, and I would expect both players have done it.
Right, and both players are sort of mimicking a more traditional control game where they're both going land, go, and waiting on someone to have to make a move.
So if you think about this as a control mirror, then I like where Collins is at. He has more lands.
Right.
The one thing that's absent about the control mirror, however, is that no one really has card advantage. Not like the draw spells you'd expect in a control mirror.
Sure.
Nothing like a thought, like if they're thought casting here.
No, it's a very different form of card advantage. Here you're looking at things like Emery to draw additional cards.
And Colin's going to fetch up Mystic Sanctuary, putting Thoughtseize on top of the deck. I like this because Bertarioni's missing lands. Collins wants to know what's up.
Exactly, and he also has his next land drop rolled up, and this is going to give him a Thoughtseize Cryptic turn.
So Thoughtseize from Collins Mullen, and Bertarioni doesn't want to let him see it. It's Whir of Invention from Bertarioni, X equals 1, so the Opal can't make mana now, but it can improvise. Let's see if Collins actually wants to counter. I don't think he does. This is likely just a Astrolabe.
Right, just trying to cycle it to hit those land drops. Yeah. And come closer to putting Mox Opal online.
So we see as Bertarioni did not want the Whir to get hit. So Astrolabe will draw him a card, and then Collins will get the Thoughtseize. Jeremy draws. Then we will see the hand. 4 cards. It is Urza, Assassin's Trophy and Mox Opal. Now, on my side, I think you just have to go for these Urzas.
Yeah.
He's got the counter for the second one.
I'm pretty interested in taking an Urza here.
It's actually, this is not that threatening of a hand. It certainly means when Collins draws a good threat, he can just deploy it.
Right, and there's even the point where Collins has this Mystic Sanctuary with his own Cryptic Command.
Right, he has a second Sanctuary in his hand also.
Ooh.
So you think when he counters, it might be something like counter, bounce Mystic Sanctuary, play Mystic Sanctuary, just keep this ball rolling?
Right.
Yeah, Jeremy going to go for that second Urza, but as you see Collins, he's looking at those 4 mana. Jeremy drops on the table, says, do you have one?
Oh, pumpkin.
Yes, of course we do. Yeah. This will leave Jeremy with just a removal spell and a Mox Opal. Now, Collins doesn't have a way to clean up yet, but he does have a Sanctuary. He can buy back a Cryptic and really control this game.
Yeah, it really feels like the door is closing here.
Counter Cryptic Command. Is it counter draw or counter bounce?
It's tough, and with the other Sanctuary in his hand, he may just want to draw for a threat.
And Jeremy wants to see what the threat is before Collins draws it. Fair enough. It was an island. Now both of them know. And back to Collins we go. This means there's going to be one turn where Collins does not have Cryptic Command up. You see Bertarioni cashing in the bauble, hoping to hit a high-impact spell before the counter spell is in Collins' hand.
Mm-hmm. And there's even a point where on Bertarioni's side, this could even signal strength from Mullen, where he's not saying,
Yeah.
I don't need a new thing. I'm missing something else, and it isn't Cryptic Command. If I was missing Cryptic, I would just bounce my own Mystic Sanctuary.
And it looks like, yeah, Collins switched up the land drop there. Jeremy allows that, so Cryptic back on top. I think it might be kind of, if you say you're playing one land and then physically play another one, there's some confusion there.
Yeah.
And then, they'll be like, did you mean to do that? They're like, oh, no, I wanted the one I said.
Hold on. Yeah.
And Jeremy will, however, sneak a card in. It's going to be Emery, however. And Collins, I think, has a Fatal Push.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to play quite nicely with all this food.
There we go. Revolt now on. And that means Fatal Push can take care of Emery. Interested here to see whether or not, if you're on Jeremy's side, he still has an Assassin's Trophy. If you trophy a land, you force a shuffle. I don't know if that's even something he goes for here.
You don't even force it.
Oh,
you
it's
can
a
just
May?
choose not to search.
Okay, it's not Field of Ruin. Right.
No.
Okay. So that is not a line. This means now both players know Cryptic Command is up with Mystic Sanctuary.
I was kind of hoping for some goosey beatdowns there.
just show him.
From honk to bonk.
Just put the
in
sword
2
on.
mana.
Put the sword on the goose. Goose just walking around asking for a sword.
From Untitled Goose Game to making a murderer in one combat step.
I got a picture of that little goose walking around, and then little speech bubble with a Sword of the Meek picture in it.
Emery splashing in the water.
Here is Gilded Goose just making some more food, and this is the card Oko for Collins.
I think that's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, enough 7 mana. Yes, please.
Wow.
That is a good number of mana to have on this turn. And Oko hits the battlefield. Jeremy, 4 mana, gonna try.
And Jeremy knows it's a Cryptic Command in hand. This is trying to pave the way for this War of Invention.
So Cryptic Command. I mean, he has to fight over the Oko.
Exactly.
There's no other option. Does Collins fight back? I think so. Oko's a great card in the matchup. I guess what would be the worst thing that Jeremy could play now that the counterspell's gone?
It's probably just going to get something to turn off Oko. You just draw the whir, and then...
Needle.
Yeah.
Still feels like a win for Collins if that happens. So it's going to be... It was counter draw from Bertarioni. From Collins, it is counter bounce. Collins also hasn't made his land drop yet, so then he plays the land he bounces, and he'll be drawing Cryptic Command next turn.
Wow.
That's really neat.
Of all the fun games of cards I've seen, this is one of them.
All right, Emma, here we go. And we might get the goose. Is the goose going to get the sword? The goose might get the sword. Elk for the Astrolabe. Oh, no, we could have equipped.
This is not bonk.
So 3 damage in. Okay, apparently Sword of the Meek takes 2 mana to equip.
Well, there's an untapped goose.
Oh, you have to sacrifice a food token to do it?
Really could
all
have been a
right.
goose.
That's probably not a good play.
New achievement. Drag the
Drag the sword.
drag the sword to the elk.
There we go. Now the elk will pick up the sword. And an attack for 4 Bertarioni down to 9.
Admittedly, isn't this basically the plot of the Eldraine book?
Yeah, right? I can't.
It's like the king getting the enchanted sword, I think. Hope.
Honk. I think that's mostly what the book features a goose. Pithing Bill on Thopter Foundry. But Bertarioni just taking hits. That one Oko turn.
He's close to dying.
Right, and both players know there's still Cryptic Command in Collins' hand. And Collins is going to make some more food tokens on end step here. But 2 more hits to go, and that should do it. And Urza the pickup for Collins. The way the board's shaping up, though, there's not too much of a need to do something. We see from Bertarioni, looks like we have some whir. Whir Invention, X equals 2. Does Collins care?
Yeah, there's a point where you kind of have an idea of what cards the opponent has access to.
Maybe for Thopter Foundry here, is that what we think? But that's
Well,
needled.
It's needled.
So what on 2 mana is the play? I guess we're going to find out. It's resolving. Aether Spellbomb, overpaid. And he will bounce the Astrolabe. That was Collins' creature. And now there is no choice but for the goose to pick up the sword. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Urza will do a much better job of picking up the sword, but...
And you know what? Karn will do an even better job than that. Oh, no. You know who's the best at picking up swords, Matthias?
I could do it. I think I have a chance.
You are the best swordsman
that is not
in the
true, but
entire
it will
room.
be true for this game. And now tons of blue mana. Cryptic Command will always be up.
Oh no!
Wow. I'm not a swordsman. It's true. I can see it. But there we go.
You know what? Honestly, I think a Sword of the Meek looks great with that parchment.
Just bonk him with the paper. Look, I'm beating you over the head with these formulas. Study more. That's fun.
All right,
There
well,
we go.
Good luck, Bertarioni. Impress
Yeah,
us.
that's Emery joins the fight, and that should just about do it. Jeremy gives the graveyard a look over, make sure he didn't miss anything. And what a comeback weekend here for Collins. And Jeremy's going to make a show of it, but
Big
I don't
drown
think
in the luck.
could we count the graveyard, please? Hold on.
Oh, yeah. It turns out I do, in fact, have 35 cards.
Can I see the card? Read the upper corner. Counter bounce on Mystic Sanctuary, and that will do it. Collins Mullen takes game 2, and 2-0 he wins and will advance to the